Okay, so good afternoon everyone. Welcome to the lecture 2 of our engineering data analysis lecture series. Okay, today we're gonna talk about the sample space. The set of all possible outcomes of a statistical experiment is called the sample space and is represented by the symbol S. So for example, what are the possible outcomes? If you are to flip a fair coin, either head and toes. Head and toes? Head and shoulder. It's either head or tails. Okay, so if you have two coins, like for example, if you have two coins, you have at the first flip nimo, may dani mo head. Second flip, you have the head. Okay, pwede ito. That's a possibility. And another one, in your first toss, you have a head. Another one is tail. Okay, it's another possibility. Or you can have either tail, heads, and tail. So those are the possibilities if you're to flip a coin, okay, two times, or if you are to flip two coins. Okay, so yun. How about if you are to flip three coins? Yun. Or you are to flip a coin three times. Ganito naman yan. It's either in your first flip you have head, second flip, you have another head, third flip, head, so on and so forth. Till such time, tail. Nagets niyo? And all of that is called your sample space. And all of the possible outcomes is called your sample space. Okay. So the rule method, if a sample space kuno is too large or infinite, we are to describe this by a statement or rule method. Okay? So for example, what is kuno the possible outcome of an experiment with the set of cities around the world over 1 million population. So you are to find the number of cities all around the world with over 1 million population. So there are too many cities in the world, and you can pero may iha ka. May iha kapag surat kung ano itong mga cities, because again, there are too many cities in the world. So what you do in order for you to write the sample space is to use the rule method. And ganito yun. The sample space, this one reads as the sample space S is equal to the X, such that you read this one as such that the sample space is equal to the set of all X, such that X is a city with a population of over 1 million. Diri man kita makakagsurat gagit at mga number of cities, pero may iha kita. Diri ba efficient? Sayang tim oras. Whereas, you're just write na lang the sample space using this one. At sugad na lang the sample space is equal to the set of all X, such that X is a city with a population over 1 million. Okay? Ito yun. Which read as S is the set of all X such that X is a city with over a population of 1 million. The vertical bar, again, this one, the vertical bar is read as such that. Example for the rule method. If S is the set of all points on a boundary or interior of a circle of radius 2 with the center at the origin, write its sample space. Kumbaga, pinapasurat mo tanan na points on the boundary or interior of a circle of a radius of 2 with center at the origin. Okay, kumbaga, if you have a Cartesian coordinate plane, and you are to write the set of all points X and Y on the boundary of a circle with a radius of 2. Say for example, if this is your circle, okay, and it has a radius of 2. Okay, what is the general equation for a circle? Ano general equation for a circle? That is from your analytic geometry. No, the general form of a circle. X minus h squared plus y minus k squared, di ba? Is equal to r squared. Wherein, nasa ring man niya it says here in the problem that your center is at the origin. Meaning, your h and k are both 0. So that's why magiging x squared plus y squared is equal to r squared. Okay, wherein your radius is equal to 2. So x squared plus y squared is equal to 2 squared. Supposedly, or 2 squared is equal to 4. Supposedly, you are to write all of these values right here. Diba? Kinaya kaniya, isurat ko ng sample space. Write the sample space for all of these values. Ba daw? Bubuwasan ka ito. Okay, for example, at this point, you have an x value, this one, you have an x value at that point, and you also have a y value at that point. And it's different kung adididi. Also, adididi gihapon. Also, adididi. Didi. So on and so forth. There are infinite number. Diba? As I've said earlier, this type of data is called continuous type of data. Yeah, because there is an infinite number between a range. So kung din there are infinite numbers pa between those 2 points. Okay? So kung infinite an imo number of samples at that point, you are to use the rule method. Amo ito magamit ka ng rule method. Okay? So it says here gyapon in the problem that you are to write all of the points x and y on the boundary or the interior of a circle. Waraya sumiring boundary la. Okay? Or at the interior of the circle. Meaning, bisan nastala dida, kahit hanggang dyan lang, this can also be considered as your, this point can also be considered as your sample space. So, as this point. So, as this point right here. Okay. So, if the radius at the boundary is 4, okay, kung tipasulo dito, what's the radius for that? That would be less than 2. Or if that is less than 2, less than 2 squared, less than 4 squared. Okay? So you have the set of all points, okay, that is less than or equal to 4. Okay, nasa ring iya, boundary or interior of the circle. Okay, so ganito, you are to use the rule method na. So ganito na yun. So your sample space is equal to the set of all x and y such that your x squared plus y squared is less than or equal to 4. Meaning, tanan ko no nga points nga ma-satisfy hininga equation, amo ko no ito, mo sample points. Okay, sige. Ito. We are to write, okay, the elements of each of the following sample spaces. Ito, kahit hindi ka na mag-rule method dito because you have an finite number of numbers between 1 and 50 na divisible by 8. Okay? So, you are kuno to write all the elements of each of the following samples. For letter A, the set of integers between 1 and 50 nga divisible by 8. So, when you write your sample space, ganito lang yun. Your sample space is equal to the set, okay, consisting of the numbers divisible by 8. What are the numbers divisible by 8? 8, 16, 24, 32, 40, 48. Okay? It's only up to 50. Okay? List the set of integers between 1 and 50. Hindi, ito lang yun. You don't have to use the rule method because there are only finite number of elements that consist your sample space for this example. Okay? So, events. Ganito. An event is a subset of sample space. So, again, kanina, if you are to toss a dice, a coin, if you are to toss a coin, so your sample space is, it's either a head or a tail. Malitot magawas. Diba? Kung if you are to toss a coin. Event is a subset of sample space. Kumbaga, your event is a part of your sample space. Pwede kayo ni sumiring that your event A can be an event when head occurs after a flip. Okay? So, iti mo event A is a subset of your sample space. Meaning, your event A is only this one because you considered your event A when head occurs after you flip. So an sulod A mo supposedly event A is head la. What consists of your event A is only the head because you consider event A as when head occurs after a flip. So yun, an event is a subset of your sample space, meaning also your event is a part of your sample space. Also, you can consider an event, say if you try to name event B as when tail occurs naman after a flip. Okay, so kung ganun naman, you have event B, it's solidity mo event B is this one, when tail occurs after one flip. Ganun lang yun. Okay? And an event can be a subset that includes all of the sample space. So, your event, say, my event C is that this is the event wherein either heads or tail will occur. So, kumbaga, sulod nita akong event C is it's either a head or a tail. And it is also the sample space na. So, this is an event and this is a sample size. But this event consists of all the sample space gihapon. It so happened that this event consists all of the sample space. Okay? So also, an event can also contain no element or elements of a sample space. Say your event D naman. Your event D is when after you flip a coin, a jack will appear. A jack card will appear. Will appear. So, this one, what consists of your event D is a null set or waray sulod. Waray suludan nimo event di because if you are to flip a coin, waray talaga di na may magawas nga jack nga card. It imo sample space either heads or tail la. Tapos animo event di, it's either a jack card kuno will appear in that event. So waray talaga ito, it can't happen. So therefore, your event D is called a null set. Okay? Meaning waray niya sulod. Wala siyang laman. So, ito, complements. So, the complement of an event A with respect to the sample space S is the subset of all elements of S that are not in A. Okay? Kung ano yung wala sa A na nandyan sa sample space, yun yung complement of A mo. So, we denote the complement of A by the symbol A prime. This one. A prime. Okay, so consider the sample space. Okay, ito yung sample space mo. You have book, cell phone, MP3, paper, stationery, and laptop. And your event A is equal to book, stationery, laptop, and paper. Question, what is your A complement? Meaning, ano yung wala? Ano yung wala sa A, sa event A, na meron sa sample space? Cellphone, MP3. Ano pa? Stationery, paper, laptop, book. Meron lahat. So, therefore, your A complement is silang dalawa lang. Okay? Cellphone and MP3. That's what you mean by complement. Ito na yun. So, the complement of A or A prime is equal to the cellphone or MP3. Okay? Sige, ito pala, these are the operations of your sets because your sample size is a set of numbers, a set of data. So, and for this one, we are now considering operations, okay, on sets. So, the first one is complement. The second one is a intersection. The intersection naman of two events A and B is usually denoted by this one, bagat inverted U. An inverted U, meaning the intersection between A and B, is the event containing all the elements that are common to A and B. Kung ano yung pagkakapareho nila. Okay? Kung ano yung pagkakapareho nyo, kaya kayo nagka-developan. Yun. So, for example, considering tossing a fair die, okay, meaning usala, find the intersection of the events wherein your event A being equal to the event that an even number occurs. Okay? So, what is the sample size for this one? You are to toss a die. what are the possible outcomes if you are to toss a die? It's either a 1, 2, 4, 5, and 6. There are 6 sides man lati mo dice, di ba? Our die has 6 sides. So the possible outcomes is it will either appear as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or 6. Okay? Usually may mga number man ito na dida. 1, may the 2, may the 3, so on and so forth. So your sample space is 1 to 6. And event A kuno is the event that an even number occur. Okay? So this event A is the event kuno wherein an even number will occur. So what are the even numbers in your sample space? Even numbers. Go. You have 2, 4, 6. Okay? And for event B naman, what consists of your event B? Those are the numbers greater than 3. What are the numbers greater than 3? 4, 5, and 6. So you are to find the intersection of these two events. So ano yung pinagkakapareho nila? The intersection of A and B is equal to kung ano yung pinagkakapareho nila. Ano ba yung pinagkakapareho nila? 4. 4 and 6. Okay? So yun. That is now your intersection of A and B. Okay, sige. So, yun. Kanina, we've discussed complements. Kung ano yung wala sa event A na meron sa sample space, yun yung A complement mo. Ito naman, if you have events A and B, kung ano yung pinagkakapareho ng event A and B mo, yun yung intersection mo. Okay, next. Ito pala, we have an example for intersection. So, we are to let event V being equal to A, the set of these values A, E, I, O, U, and event C, L, R, S, and T. We are to determine its intersection. Okay? What is the intersection between these two events? Ano yung intersection nila? The intersection between event V and C is a null set. Or they are disjoint or mutually exclusive. Okay? Wala silang pagkakapareho. Okay? So, it follows that the event B, the intersection between event V and C is a null set. That is when V and Z have no elements in common. And therefore, they cannot both simultaneously occur. Di sila pwedeng lumabas ng sabay. So, these two events, A and B, two events, A and B, are mutually exclusive or disjoint if events A and B has a null set. And that is if A and B have no elements in common. So, yun. Yung tawag sa kanila, they are called mutually exclusive or disjoint. If their intersection is a null set, they are called mutually exclusive or disjoint. Okay? Question? Klaro? Ito. Next, we have the union. The union naman of two events A and V denoted by the this one, U. The union of A and V is the event containing all the elements that belong to A or B or both. Okay, kung kanina, the intersection was, we are just choosing kung ano yung pinagkakapareho nila. For this one, we are to list naman all of the events that occur in A and all the events that occur in B and yung pinagkakapareho din nila or both. So for example, we are to find the union between event A and B wherein our event A is ABC and event B is BC, D, and E. So what is the union between event A and B? Ano yung, actually, isusulat mo silang lahat. A, B, dalawa man yung B. So, it's okay. So, B, C, we also have two C's. And D, and E. Yun na yun. Yun na yung intersection, yung union ng event A and V. Gets? Ito na yun. By the way, this is a review of your probability, statistics in your high school. I believe this was discussed in your modern mathematics ba do? I'm not so sure. Basta, I think this was discussed. Also, in your first year, mathematics pala in the modern world, this was discussed. Basic. Ito. If M naman, we're gonna use rule method naman. If M is the set, if M is the set of all X such that the X is in between 3 and 9 and event N is equal to the set of all Y such that Y is in between 5 and 12, the question is, ang pinapahanap dito is, what is the union between event M and event N? Okay, anyone? Okay, ganito. Let's try to draw that one in a number line. Okay, so you have here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and lastly we have 12. Okay, and event M is the set of all X, wherein your X is in between 3 and 9. So what are the numbers that are in between 3 and 9? These numbers right here. So let's try to use a different color. Let's try to use yellow. So meaning event M are all of these values right here. Okay, event M are all of these values right here. Okay, and the next one, for our event N is the set of all Y such that Y is in between 5 and 12. Ito naman yung event N mo. Let's try to use again a different color para mas klaro. Try to use this one. 5 and 12. Okay, so for this one naman, this is your event N. So basically, you are to find kuno the union between event M and event N. So ano ba yung union? So what consists of M, you should write what consists of M, and also you should write what consists of N. And also, what are the common of those two? So for this one, if you are to imagine it as a number line, ito yung nasasakupan ng event M mo. This is your event M. And this one is your event N. Diba? So if you are to find the union between them, ito na yun. From here up to here. Okay, ito na yun. So therefore, let's try to use another variable. Let's try Z. So the union between event M and event N is the set. Let's try to use another variable. Let's try to use Z. The set of all Z such that, okay, it aton Z, wherein our Z is in between ang minimum ni mga value and your maximum na value. Between 3 and 12. Meaning, ito lahat ng nasasakupan nila. Kumbaga, if you try to imagine kung taloy mag-aasawa ko na if they are to wed, syempre, kung ano nimo ari-arian, yun din yung magiging ari-arian na ninyong dalawa. So, if you are to add those two up, so ito na yun. Meaning, the union between M and N is this range na, from 3 to 12. Gets? Ito na yun. Sige. Next. Ito, Venn diagram. And again, this is also a review. Venn diagram. The relationship between events and the corresponding sample space can be illustrated basically by the means of a Venn diagram. In a Venn diagram, we let the sample space be a rectangle and represent the events by a circle drawn inside the rectangle. So, ito na yun. This is an example of a Venn diagram wherein the whole of this rectangle right here is called your sample space. This is your sample space. And each of this one are events. So this is event A, event B, and event C. The question is, we are to find ito, the intersection between A and B, the intersection between B and C, the union between A and C, okay, the complement of B with the intersection of A, the intersection of A and B and C, the union of A and B, and the intersection of C complement. You have 5 minutes to answer the problem. Your timer starts now. Go. Okay, sige. So, yun. Let's try to check your answers. For number 1, we are to find the intersection between A and B. Meaning, ano it pinagkakapareho? It events A and B. So, if this is your event A, this circle right here, iniya din nga circle, this is your event A, and this circle right here is your event B. So, ano't pinagkakapareho hit event A ngan event B? So, hay nira nag-overlap. Ano nira nag-overlap? 1 and 2. So, therefore, the intersection between A and B is regions 1 and 2. The intersection naman between B and C is kunhain la kung saan nag-overlap yung event B at saka C. So, ito. Saan ba nag-overlap ang event B and C? That is right here. We have 1 and 3. So, your answer should be 1 and 3. Okay. For the union naman between events A and C, so, lahat ng region mo na nasasakupan ng A and C. So, you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 7. So, kung ano yung nakapaloob, kung ano yung nasasakupan ng A at saka C, yun na yun. Next, we have the intersection between the B complement and A. So, ito. Unahin mo to. Let's try to solve muna for the B complement. Ano yung B complement mo? Meaning, kung ano yung wala sa B. Ano ba yung wala sa B? Ano ba yung wala sa B? Those are this one. 4, 5, and 7. Ito yung wala sa B. And, ano daw yung intersection nila sa A? Ano yung pinagkakapareho nila sa A? Okay? Ano yung wala sa B? Ito, 4. Again, saan na ba yung pointer? Ito, 4, 5, and 7. And, you are to find the intersection for A. So, ano yung nakapaloob sa A? E di 4 and 7. So, ito na yung answer mo. 4 and 7. And, for number 5, you are to find the intersection between A and B. And, the intersection pa of C. The intersection of A, B, and C. Okay, ito lang yun. Actually, it's this one lang. Because ano yung pinag-overlapan ng tatlong events. You have event A, event B, and event C. Saan sila nag-overlap na tatlo? E di sa region 1. And for the last number, the union between A and B. Okay, lahat ng nasasakupan ng A and B. So, ito lahat sila. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, and 7. And we are to find the C complement. Ano yung wala sa C? That is 2, 6, 7. Kung ano yung wala sa C, that is 2, 6, 7. And union ng A at B, ito na yun. Okay, sige. The next topic will be counting sample points. So, in many cases, most of the cases, we shall be able to solve a probability problem by counting the number of points in the sample space without actually listing each element. Because it's too tedious kasi sometimes to write all of the sample spaces. Like for example, if you are to toss a coin one time, the sample space is head and tails. Diba? If you are to toss a coin 2 times, nadamo, naging head tails, tail heads, and tail. And if you are to toss a coin 3 times, medyo nagdamo ng adoro. How about kung umabot na ito 100 times? It's very, very tedious na to write all of the sample space. So what do? We count those sample points using techniques. So we have this one. We have this rule 2.1. If an operation can be performed in n number of ways, and if for each of these ways a second operation can be performed in n2, meaning they are a different number of ways, then the two operation can be performed together in n1 times n2 number of ways. Kumbaga, if you have a first operation in 5 number of ways, tas another one in 5 number of ways, your sample space is equal to, your sample points is equal to 5 times 5. Ganun lang yun. For example, okay, how many sample points are there in a sample space when a pair of dice is thrown twice? So, let's try to write na lang muna the tree diagram. Okay? Sige. So, for the first toss of your dice, what are the possible outcomes? What are the possible outcomes? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Okay, these are the possible outcomes for your first toss. For your second toss naman, what are the possible outcomes? For the first toss, may daniya 1, may daniya 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay? A first toss, pwede 1 ang gumawa. Sa second toss, pwede 1. Okay, first toss pwede 1, ha second 2. Iba, laliwat ito yara. 1 yan 3, 1 yan 4, 1 yan 5, 1 yan 6, so on and so forth. Mag-iba ito harantanan. Next, kung 2 naman liwat, pwede gihapon 1 up to 6. Tapos nga diya 3, 1 up to 6, so on and so forth. So therefore, if you have n number of operations, first, say if this is 6, and you have a n2 naman, nya 6 gihapon, you just multiply those by na rule 2.1. So just multiply n1 and n2. That is 6 times 6. This is 36. Or if you are to write naman them, may dani mo 1, 1, 1, 2, 1, 3, so on and so forth. So may dani mo 2, 1, dani mo 2, 2, may dani mo 2, 3, so on and so forth. So on and so forth yapon. Total ito na yung katanan, the total of those is equal to 36 gayapon. Nagets niyo? Para diri ka na magsinurat in order for you to escape the tedious process of writing of all the outcomes, you just try to multiply those. So n1 times n2 is 6 times 6, yun, 36. Okay. For example, okay, try to solve this one. Next, the problem says, a developer of a new subdivision offers prospective home buyers a choice of Tudor, rustic, colonial, and traditional exterior styling. Okay? And in ranch, 2-story, and split-level floor plans. In how many different ways can a buyer order one of these homes? So, ito mo choice din eh. You have your N1 being equal to the types of exterior finish. What are those types of exterior finish? You have Tudor, you have rustic, colonial, and traditional. Exterior styling. So, may peperati mo types of exterior styling. That is 4. For your N2 naman, that is the types of your floor plan. So, you have ranch, 2-story, and split-level floor plans. So, that is 3. So, the total number of sample points or the total number of different ways can a buyer order one of these homes is equal to n is equal to n1 times n2. That is 4 times 3. That is 12 ways. Another example. If a 22-member club needs to elect a chair and a treasurer, how many different ways can these two be elected? Okay? So, if you have your total sample points as n, and your n1 is equal to, okay. Okay, so you are to choose a chair, a club chairman, a chair. Kumbaga, president. Ganito na lang. A club chair and a club treasurer from a 22-member club. Okay, you are to choose two from a 22-member club. Yun. In how many different ways can you do that? So, if you are to choose for the chairman, pipirat available nga tawo for the chairman position. Pipirat available nga tawo for a chairman position. 22. Okay? For the treasurer position naman, how many member are available? Very good. Kaya na-elect na as a chairman. So, ang pagpipilian na 21 katao. Right? So, the total number of sample points is equal to, your n is equal to n1 times n2. That would be 22 times 21. What is n? Please compute. 462 ways. Okay, sige. Thank you so much. Ito, example. Sam is going to assemble a computer by himself. He has a choice of chips from two brands, okay? May dani processor from two brands. A hard drive from 4, and a memory from 3, and an accessory bundle from 5 local stores. In how many different ways can Sam order the parts? Using pa rin rule 2.1, i-extend lang natin yung rule 2.1. Okay? So, if you have an n1 number of ways na you are to choose, I mean, if your n1 is equal to the number of choices wherein you can choose brands for your chips, and that would be 2. Diba? There are 2 choices for your chips. For N2 naman, say that would be for the choices for your hard drive. How many choices for your hard drive? That would be 4. Right? And for N3 naman, that would be for your memory. Since there are 3 choices, we use 3. And for accessories naman, say that is N4, from 5 local stores. Okay, and how many different ways can Sam order the parts? So, kumbaga, in how many ways can I order? So, your n is equal to n1 times n2 times n3 times n4. That is 2 times 4 times 3 times 5. What is the total number of sample points? There are 120 ways. Okay, ito, 5 minutes. Try to answer this one. How many even 4-digit numbers, meaning thousands ito era, can be formed from the digits 0, 1, 2, 5, 6, and 9 if each digit can only be used once. Okay, 5 minutes. Your timer starts now. Go. Okay, so ganito. We are to find the we are to find how many even 4-digit numbers, meaning mga thousands, can be formed from the digit 0, 1, 2, 5, 6, and 9. If each digit can only be used once. Okay? So, we are to write ko the even digit 4 numbers. So, ano't mga even numbers? So, if you have, okay, sige, very good. If you have 4 digits, okay, kumbaga, if you have 4 digits, in order for that number to be even, the units digit should also be even, right? Right? Correct? Okay, if the units digit is 1, so therefore the whole number is not even. Right? If it is 5, again, the whole number is not even. And if it is 9, say pa kay 9. So therefore, if you are to have a 4-digit number, dapat the unit digit should be even also. So what are the even numbers? I mean, what are the numbers that you should consider in order for your number to be even? That would be 0, 2, and 6. Okay, pipirito era. Tutulo era. Diba? There are tutulo era. Okay? So, kung iti mo choice din is 3, tapos, yun nga, if your choice in here is 3, tapos makuha ka na nga danos you are to put here a number. It's either 2, it's either 0, 2, and 6. Therefore, the remaining number for your thousands place is how many digits na lang? That would be 5. 5. And at the hundreds digit, peraman? 4. And for the tenths, 3. So, multiplying, correct answer, 180. Oh, correct dire. This is wrong actually. This is wrong actually. Why? Because we tried to consider 0 being here. Right? Anaton 0 didi. So kumbaga, in order to solve this type of problem, you need to consider nga an imo units digit can be 0 or non-zero. Okay, so let's try to do it this way. So if your units digit is 0, okay, so if you have 4 numbers right here and the units digit is 0, okay, pipiraman lang ang number of ways nga ni how many number of ways can a 0 be put at the units digit? That can only be 1. Okay, usa man la 0, right? Correct? Okay. And if you utilize 0 for your units digit, and if there are 6 numbers in there, therefore the choice for your thousands digit is 5. Okay, no to? 5. Okay, nakuha mo naman ng 0, di ba? You've already removed 0. You put it right here at your units digit. So the remaining are 1, 2, 5, 6, and 9. And how many numbers are there? How many remaining numbers are there? There are 5 numbers. Okay? And you have, for the hundreds of pots, for the tens, tulo. So what's the total number? 5 times 4 times 3 times 1. That is 60. Right? And if you consider units digit is not 0. Okay? So if there are 4 digits in there, what are the non-zero digits that can be used in the units place para maging even a number? You have 2 and 6. May dani mo dida 2 ngan 6. So how many ways? May dani mo 2. Right? And if you try to consider in here, okay, 2 and 6. So the remaining therefore will be 0, 1, 5 nga 9, right? May da ka 4 nga choice. I mean may da ka 5 nga choice. Kay it's either you can only utilize either 2 or 6 man la din era, di ba? You can only utilize either 2 or 6. So therefore kung tanggalon mo an usa di daera, may da ka pa dapat 5 nga choice. May da pa nimo unta 0, 1, 5, 6 nga 9. Kung baga 2 ani mo ginpiri. Or you can also have 0, 1, 2, 5 nga 9. So may da pa nimo 5 di da unta. Right? But we cannot consider 0 in here. Why? Because if we try to put 0 in here, okay? If we try to put 0 in here, your number now becomes like for example 0, 1, 3, 2. This is not a 4-digit number kay we're considering thousands. Okay? Meaning 132 la ito. Ito yung value ba? 132 la. di rin natin pwede consider ang 0 at the thousands place. Because it will be a 100 value number. So, di rin natin pwede consider ang 0 at here. So, kung umiban kita din hinusa, di ba? Nag-iba na kita din hinusa para units digit. Tapos, supposedly, 5 pa unta. Anaton din ni. Pero giniba ng tanong sa kay, di rin pwede consider ang 0. So, pero naman la. Madali mo? Upat na la. Okay? So, for the hundreds place, you can consider na in here 0. Okay, man lang ito mag-0 ka dida. Kay, like for example, this one. So, if you try to choose 3, 0, 1, 2, okay man ito. Yeah, okay, meaning that is 3012. Unlike for this one, this is 132. Gets? So, pwede ka na mag-consider din ni hin 0. So, therefore, kung umiban ka na din nino sa units, umiban ka na gihapon nino sa nga diha thousands, and you have 6 digits, pero naman lat remaining din eh. Hindi, upat. Upat na la. Okay? And, kung umiban ka na no sa naluwat, how many ko na la, pero nalat na bibilin? That would be 3. So, multiplying, you have 96. Now, you are to add those two because those are mutually exclusive. Meaning, 312, okay, 312 and 6,102 cannot happen simultaneously. Meaning, they are mutually exclusive. Okay? So, you are to add those. So, as to how many ways can you write a 4-digit number using these digits right here is equal to your N1 plus N2. And that would be 60 plus 96. That is, what's your answer? 156. Correct ang answer ng 156. You can't always use the rule 2.1. You need to understand what the problem says. Okay? Sige. Okay, sige. Ito, permutation versus combination. So, permutation and combination are both an arrangement of all or part of a set of objects, wherein the difference is, in permutation, the order matters. Meaning, importante yung order. And for the combination naman, the order does not matter. Amo lang ito dara pinagkaiba. And if you are to write it in mathematical terms, the number of permutation can be expressed by this formula right here. N factorial divided by n minus r factorial. Wherein your factorial is that, for example, if you have 4 factorial, ganito lang yan. 4 times 3 times 2 times 1. Kagibunsin no jutsu. Ganun lang yan, yung factorial. If you have 3 factorial, that's equal to 3 times 2 times 1. Ganun lang yung factorial. Gets? Parang kagibunsin lang ni Naruto. And for the combination naman, this is the formula right here. N factorial divided by r factorial times multiplied by n minus r factorial. Okay. So, ganito. The difference between a permutation and combination can be expressed through this example. Okay, ito. How many different permutations can be derived from a letter, from the letters A, B, C, and D taken 4 at a time? Meaning, A, B, C nga di, itaton ko kuhaon o upat nga letter at a time. So, upat-upat. Taken 4 at a time, upat-upat. Taken 3 at a time, tulo-tulo. Taken 2 at a time, dua-dua. Okay? So, how many different permutations can be derived? Like, for example, if we have letters A, B, C, and D, how many different permutations? Meaning, the order matters. How many different permutations can be derived from these letters right here? So, if we try to write all of the arrangement in which we can write 4 letters, we have, so for this one, ito, A, B, C, D, number 1. So, let's try to write it here na lang. You have A, B, ganito. A, B, C, D. Ano pa? We have A, B, D, C. A, C, B, D, A, C, D, B. A, D, B, C, and A, D, C, B. Okay? Continuing, I have BACD, BADC, BCAD, BCDA. Okay? BDAC, BDCA. DBAC, DBCA. DCAB, and DCBA. So, the total number of permutation can be derived from the letters A, B, C, and D taken 4 at a time, meaning upat-upat. Taken 4 at a time is equal to this one. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Unumera times 1, 2, 3, 4. So, the number of different permutations is equal to 6 times 4, that is 24 ways. Okay? Pero kung nahuhubya kayo ito pagsurat, kay damo nga duro, you can use this one. Wherein your n factorial is the the number of samples. Like for example, this one is A, B, C, and D. Ilan sila? 4. So you have 4 factorial. 4 factorial divided by n minus r. So what is the total? That is 4 minus r. Meaning, your r is kung ilan yung kukunin mo at a time. So, if you are to take 4 at a time, that is 4 minus 4. That would be 4 minus 4 factorial. Okay, so 4 factorial divided by 0 factorial. By the way, 0 factorial is equal to 1. Magic daw, ano? Magic. 0 factorial is equal to 1. Why? Okay, 8 factorial kasi parang ganito yan. In how many ways can you arrange 0? Eh di, makausa ka la. Di ka na makaka-arrange yun iba kay 0 na iya. So, 0 factorial is equal to 1. So, therefore, 4 factorial, that is 4 times 3 times 2 times 1, all over 1. What's the answer? 24. Pariwera? Pariwera. Kesa isulat mo sila, ito na lang. It's easier. But you need to determine if this is a permutation or a combination para hindi ka magkamali. Okay? So, the difference between a permutation and a combination is this. Okay. So, let's try to use A, B, and C lang. Okay? So, if we are to find the number of permutations taken 3 at a time, meaning tulo-tulo, for A, B, and C, we have taken 2 at a time na lang. Masyadong malami pa rin yung tatlo. Taken 2 at a time na lang. So, dalawa-dalawa, meaning dua-dua era. So, we have AB, AC, apat pala sila. A, B, C, D pala, sorry. AB, AC, AD. Okay? So, also we have BA, BC, and BD. Also, we have CA, CB, and CD. And lastly, we have DA, DB, and DC. This is the number of permutation that can be made from 4 letters taken 2 at a time. Meaning, duha-duha. Taken 2 at a time. So, this is the permutation. Amo na yung permutation, which is equal to 4. Okay, the permutation of 4. Okay, the permutation of 4 taken 2 at a time. So, that would be 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4. That would be 12. Right? If you are to find naman the combination, okay, the combination of 4 letters taken 2 at a time, ganito lang yan. If permutation, order matters, the combination, the order does not matter. Meaning, AB and BA is the same. Okay? In permutation, AB and BA are different. But in combination, AB and BA are the same. So, as AC, let's try to use another color. Okay? So, as AC and CA, they're the same. Also, we have BC and CB. They are the same. And we have AD and DA. They are the same for combination. Also, we have BD and DB. And lastly, we have CD and DC. Meaning, in order for you to count those combination, just have to isulat mo lang kung ilan yung magkakapareho. So, if this one are the same, they are counted as 1. This is 1. Another one for AC and CA, that's 2. Okay, this is 2. For DA and AD, that is 3. BC and CB, that is 4. BD and DB is 5. And lastly, for CD and DC, that is 6. So, therefore, the number of combinations that can be taken from 4 letters taken 2 at a time is 6. Or, using the formula right there, you can have n factorial, which is 4. Apat sila. There are 4 letters. 4 factorial all over r factorial. How many ways kung taken at a time? So, meaning dalawa-dalawa, that would be 2 factorial. Multiplied by 4 minus 2 factorial. Okay? So, therefore, you have 4 factorial divided by 2 factorial times 2 factorial. What is the answer? Dapat pariwara 6. Okay? Nakuha niyo at pinagkaiba at permutation yung combination. Permutation, order matters. Combination, the order does not matter. So, try to answer this one. Let's try to answer this one. How many different combinations can be derived from letters A, B, C, and D taken 2 at a time? Ito na pala yung answer. Na-answeran na pala. And that is 6. Okay? Meron na palang answer. Okay, sige. Next. Ito. Let's try to answer this one. For example, in a year, 3 awards for research, teaching, and service will be given to a class of 25 graduate students in a statistics department. So, each student can receive at most 1 award. Okay? And how many possible selections are there? Okay? And how many possible selections are there? So, ano to? Is this a combination or a permutation? Actually, yung mahirap dito is to determine if it's combination or permutation. Okay? So, is it a combination or a permutation? Yun. Because, actually, that's correct. This is permutation. Because there are 3 distinct awards. Okay? Iba-iba itong award. You have research, teaching, and service. Okay? Those are iba-ibang awards. So, you are to take from a 25 graduate students, you are to take the permutation of 25 taken 3 at a time. So, you have 25 factorial all over. I mean, the formula states that it's n factorial all over n minus r factorial. Wherein your n is 25 and your r is 3. So, 25 minus 3. Okay. So, 25 factorial divided by 25 minus 3, that is 22. Right? 22 factorial. So, anong ibig sabihin ng 25 factorial? That is 25 times 24 times 23 times 22 times 21 and so on and so forth. Also, for the 22 factorial, that means that it's 22 times 21 times so on and so forth. So, pwede ko i-cancel. This one cancels out. So, therefore, that would be 25 times 24 times 23 na lang. Okay? What is the number of permutation that can be derived from 25 taken 3 at a time? That would be 13,800 ways. Next, ito. A young boy asked his mother to get 5 Game Boy TM cartridges from his collection of 10 arcades and 5 sports games. In how many ways can there in how many ways are there that his mother can get 3 arcade and 2 sports games? Okay? So what's this? Is this a combination or permutation? Why combination? Okay. Sige, actually, this is a combination type of problem. Why? Because nasa ring din, it says here in the problem that you are to choose three arcade. You have to choose 3 arcade and 2 sports game from 10 arcade and 5 sports. Okay, regardless kung ano tayo mo mabunot, okay? Regardless kung ano tayo mo mabunot, game man lagi hapon ito. Regardless kung ano tayo magbunot, game man lagi hapon ito. Diri man ito magkukuha niya, ani mo say, for example, he have 10 arcade games. So, may daniya dida. Ano ba't mga arcade games? What are the arcade games? May dani mo Metal Slug. If you try it, old school na ako. I have Metal Slug, the Super Mario, and Battle Tanks, Contra. Okay? So, nayakan din in how many ways are there that his mother can get 3 arcade games. So, if you try to choose these 3 right here, Metal Slug, ano to SM? Super Mario, and Battle Tanks, it's the same with SM, MS, and BT. Diba? Or it's the same with BT, SM, and MS. So, the order does not matter regardless. So, this problem is a combination type of problem. Okay, wherein we are to choose from 10 arcade games, we are to choose 3, and from 5 sports game, we are to choose 2. So, what's the formula for combination? That is n factorial all over r factorial times n minus r factorial. Okay, so if our n is 10, so that would be 10 factorial over 3 factorial times n minus r. Diretso ko nala, 7 factorial. Okay, so what's the answer? 120. 120 ways. For this one naman, if this is n factorial over 2 factorial times 5 minus 3, that would be 5 minus 2, that would be 3 factorial. So what's the answer? 10 ways. Okay, so for the last topics, so for a circular permutation naman, madali lang, actually makuri. It's very hard. The number of permutations for n objects arranged in a circle is n minus 1 factorial. For example, in how many ways can 4 people sit in a round table? So, if you have 4 people and you are to compute for the permutation, considering that they are arranged in a circular table or a round table, so your n, okay, the number of ways in which you can arrange these people is equal to, gawin na lang natin tong, ano bang maganda? M na lang. The number of ways can 4 people sit in a round table is n minus 1 factorial. That would be, if your n is 4, that would mean that it is 4 minus 1 factorial. 3 factorial. That is 3 times 2 times 1, that is 6 ways. Makuri. And lastly, the number of distinct permutations naman of n things which is of which n1 are one of a kind and n2 is a second of a kind and nk is the kth of the kind is n factorial over n1 factorial times n2 factorial up to the nkth factorial. So for example, in a college football training session, the defensive coordinator needs to have 10 players standing in a row. Among these 10 players, there are 1 freshman, 2 sophomores, 4 juniors, and 3 seniors. So, how many different ways can they be arranged in a row if their class level will be distinguished? Okay, we are to choose from 10 player. Okay, so may the 1 freshman, 2 sophomores, 4 junior, and 3 seniors. Okay, using this formula right here, we just write what is the total number of players. So that would be 10. So if this is n factorial over n1 factorial times n2 factorial times to the nk factorial, so on and so forth. So if the total number of players is 10, Okay, that would be 10 factorial. And you have 1 distinct freshman, 2 distinct sophomore, 4 distinct junior, and 3 distinct senior. Okay, ganito lang yan. If this is 1, say 1 factorial. Times, you have 2 sophomore, 2 factorial. You have 4 junior, 4 factorial. Times, 3 seniors, you have 3 factorial. Consistent natin. So, 2 factorial and 4 factorial. Okay? So, what is the answer? 12,600 ways. May pa ba? And for the last example, similar letter. Actually, you are to compute how many different ways. I mean, how many different letter arrangement can be made from the statistics word. So, what's the total number of letters in this word? So, that would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay? There are total of n letters. But, damot magkakapareho. Like, for example, your S is equal to 1, 2, 3. Tutulutin S. Your T, tutulog yapon iti imo T. Your A, masalat imo A. Your I, masalag yapon iti imo I. Oops. Your I is 1. And ano pa ba? I, duwat I. Hindi dua. Ano pa? C. 1. Okay? So, if the total is 10, so you have 10 factorial all over this one, 3 factorial times 3 factorial times 1 factorial 1 factorial times 2 factorial times 1 factorial. So, what's the answer? How many different letter arrangement can we make? That would be 50,000. 50,400 ways.